World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day to all of our listeners here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This is World News in 5 and I'm your host, Steph, Vicente. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen has warned that Europe must arm itself to respond to Russia's hybrid warfare. Al Jazeera reported that Frederiksen's statement comes as she was hosting a summit of European leaders as they discussed joint efforts for better deterrence and defense. In the same summit, French President Emmanuel Macron has urged the European Union to proceed with caution in its current confrontation with Russia, while Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni warned against overreacting. Hybrid warfare involves the use of conventional methods such as tanks and missiles, as well as non-conventional ones such as cyber attacks and internet disinformation. Russia is considered a very aggressive player for several years, French President Macron said, citing cyber attacks during elections, its war against Ukraine, the use of nuclear threats, and recent airspace violations. In other news stories, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has defended United States President Donald Trump's 20-point Gaza peace plan, telling ministers that coordination with Washington is closer than people think. The CNN reported that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu believes there is a very big opportunity out of the 20-point plan. It could be recalled that the Israeli leader said in Washington this week that Israel supported the plan, but the Israeli cabinet hasn't formally voted to accept the proposal and has yet to schedule the vote. The Israeli leader arrived at the cabinet meeting directly after returning to the country from the United States amid harsh criticism from his right-wing political partners over the plan that was unveiled by U.S. President Trump at the White House on Monday. Meanwhile, Netanyahu told his ministers that the wording pertaining to a Palestinian state was ambiguous. And finally, Swiss wines and chocolates are set to become cheaper in India after a new trade agreement it signed with a bloc of 4 European nations came into effect on Wednesday. The BBC reported that India signed the Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, or TEPA, with the European Free Trade Association, or EFTA, which includes Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein, in March 2024. Under the agreement, India will cut tariffs on 80 to 85% of goods coming from these countries to zero, while Indian exporters will get duty-free access to 99% of goods in EFTA markets. The two sides have also committed to invest $100 billion and create 1 million direct jobs over the next 15 years as part of the deal. This is India's first trade agreement where market access is directly tied to these investment pledges. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.